could take the time travel element of Safety Not Guaranteed and just go, yeah, Star Wars has time travel now. So maybe they bring young Han Solo to the present day to avenge old Han Solo.
Everyone loves young Han Solo.
Apparently.
And they can just bring the cast that's being wasted in that movie that's probably going to get canceled and just bring that young Han Solo to play young Han Solo in the current timeline.
Yeah.
So it'll step even more on the toes of purist fans who don't like them recasting Han Solo.
Part of me wants to see time travel because people would go insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've been following the TV series Star Wars Rebels, you'll know that a major game-changing, potentially universe-breaking event just took place. It was made apparent that the character of Nick Sant, first seen in Return of the Jedi, who was retconned into Captain Rex, I think, is not in fact Captain Rex, as previously hinted at before, and that he's his own character again. And I, for one, will not. Star Wars has time travel now! Right, so if you don't watch Rebels, here's the gist of what's going on. Ezra Bridger, probably named in honor of the band Better Than Ezra, stumbles into a portal that opens up into a half-finished Mario Kart track, and there we hear, initially, a whole lot of voices from previous episodes of Rebels, the Clone Wars, and the Star Wars prequels.
Let go of everything you fear to lose.
What you need, you already have. Unfortunately, you seem to be letting it all go.
I won't let him lose his way. Not like I did.
So I'm thinking, oh, this is one of those echoes of the past thing. But then we hear the voices of Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jyn Erso, Maz Banana.
The Force is what gives the Jedi its power. It's an energy created by all living things. It surrounds us, penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Where are you?
Those voices.
The time to fight is now.
Where are they coming from?
See each other again.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is one of those echoes of the past and future things. But then we get what I thought was a vision of the past, and I thought, oh, this is one of those look into a portal from the past or whatever things. But then Ezra reaches in, pulls Ahsoka away from Darth Vader in an event that was happening 2 years prior. This changes absolutely everything in Star Wars and is bad. But maybe it's great and also means nothing, if you catch my drift. Goodbye. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking, but you don't have to stick around. Some series and movies and properties or whatever have time travel as a staple. Guy Pearce is the time-traveling man and his machine. Going to the Future, Dr. England, Star Trek.
I say screw you, and I hope you're blue too. We're bloody with
Star Wars, though, has never experienced anything like this. Sure, you can sometimes use the Force to see vague hints towards the future or do a flip. That's cool, but never time travel. This can break the universe in half in a number of ways. For one, Star Wars has now left itself open to a Star Trek style reboot. They can now effectively wipe any person or event from canon, either altering history entirely or creating a branching Back to the Future 2 style timeline, like how in that movie they imagined if Donald Trump was president. The other thing is, you can also displace someone from any direction in time and potentially dump them somewhere else. I'm pretty confident, but not that confident, that someone, probably Ahsoka or Better Than Ezra, is going to skip the entirety of the original trilogy using this. Seems as they don't appear at all and then reappear on the other side after the Empire has toppled. I think Lucasfilm are too in love with some of these characters to kill them all off. I mean, we know at least a couple survive already. And you know what? I'm okay with this. Sure. Why not? The other thing that's been enabled is instant transportation to anywhere in the entirety of the universe at any point in time. Also, there might be multiple universes in the Star Wars universe. That two-headed pod racer guy said it, so...
I don't care what universe you're from. That's gotta hurt.
And you know, he seemed to know what was going on. He had two brains. That's pretty good. But what I'm saying is, it's not just time travel we're talking about here. It's time and space travel, which is an entirely different thing. Star Wars happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But we also know that it probably also exists at some point in a version of Earth's past because of the ET connection. That means we could see, and I doubt this is going to happen anytime soon, if at all, characters visit Earth. Or maybe even some crossovers with other Disney properties. Oh yeah, I can see that. Maybe, I guess. No! And you know, maybe we could get a dabbing Han Solo, or Yoda doing a hip-hop dance. The potential for Star Wars dancing and also memeing is at an all-time high. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Rebels. It ebbs and flows for me in terms of quality, but I've been liking what they've been doing these last few episodes. Really great stuff. Stakes feel high, there's been significant loss, and Ian McDiarmid showed up as the Emperor. I don't even mind the time-traveling element for this particular story, and I don't really think that this aspect of Star Wars canon is going to be misused anytime soon. But mark my words and mark them well. At some point in the future, it could be a year, it could be 1,000 years, but probably before then, someone is going to take this crumb of an idea and create something probably terrible. Now, the Lucasfilm Story Group is probably going to close off this avenue of time travel. Maybe remove this space between spaces.
Not into space. Into the space between spaces.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, that did seem familiar. But once you've introduced time travel, you can't really go back. At least not permanently. But we also don't know how exactly this works. Whether or not time is linear even within this area. Because maybe Ahsoka was always meant to fall through. Ezra wasn't altering her future. This always happened the same way that Kanan was supposed to die. Also, it's possible that a person can't actually survive by going through a portal that they did not arrive from. The rules as of yet are not clear and or established. That being said, as much as this has opened up the possibilities of bad Star Wars time travel stories, that also means that we can get some good stuff. Potentially now, any character can meet any other character. Post Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker could have an entire adventure with Mace Windu during the Clone Wars. Darth Vader could wait at the bottom of the Sarlacc pit for Boba Fett to fall in and catch him gently in his robot arms, whisking him away to safety. And old Obi-Wan Kenobi could reunite with a young Dexter Jettster.
Obi-Wan!
For now, it seems anybody can go anywhere at any time. Death is meaningless, and Star Wars is yet again ruined, or not ruined, depending on your perspective, because it doesn't matter what changes are made or not made, over time we'll be getting Star Wars forever, and there's always going to be good stories, and also the truce at Bakura. And also, this is all fictional, so doesn't matter ultimately. Ha! We've all had fun here today, and that's great. This is probably the best video anyone's ever made. But what might make it even better, or worse, let's see how this goes, is feedback from you. Well, some of you. I threw it out there on Twitter, whether people were on board or not with time travel in Star Wars, and these are some of the responses that came back. Nick Fisher says, in the case of the films, they've been around too long to bring in a game-changing element like that. It's not like Luke's projection power, the consequences of bringing it in, and its potential are both way bigger. Phil says, I think in sci-fi/sci fantasy, time travel is a subgenre rather than a plot device. Brett says, only in the way that it's one of those things Palpatine was after, creating a oh, that wrinkly fuck kind of urgency and dread, but the good guys end up destroying it, so evil can never use it for bad. Matt says, depends on how it's done. I thought World Between Worlds was vague enough and hard enough to access/control. Tom says, Rebels did it well, only if they used it in the way that Filoni did it, I'd be wary of it otherwise. Rafe says, a parsec is a unit of space, not time. So in theory, the Kessel Run will have to bend space and time in order to make it a shorter distance. So Star Wars is already playing with time travel. Also, they should go back in time and retcon the prequels. Fan The Stan says, the Force essentially gives you any ability possible within the universe that's interwoven by the Force. I don't see why time travel can't exist in some form or another in this universe. I like how Game of Thrones did it, just being able to learn from it, but not interact. Herman says, who cares, it's not real. If done well, it is cool. If it is not done well, then it's lame. Same with any other story element. Anthony says, if it erases The Last Jedi, then I would certainly consider it. Marcus says, it should, but used extremely sparingly. It's always good adding to the mythology, but if used in excess, time travel will screw up everything. Pete says it has the potential to introduce a universe where nothing is of consequence anymore. Anything can work, I suppose. It's kind of fine without it. Smiley face. Dylan says, Star Wars fans don't like it when Star Wars makes small changes to the universe. Imagine how they'd react if they added time travel and then changed something using time travel. People would lose their minds. A few more. Will says, it'd be cool if 1, the past can't be altered, 2, people in the past can't see or touch the person from the future. 3, it's not a recurring theme. Basically, I'd be cool with it if Yoda or Obi-Wan shows Rey the past of the Jedi or something like that. Name cannot be blank. I think Gareth Edwards put it well a few years ago when talking about Godzilla. If you have a sci-fi conceit and then you add another on top of it, it becomes one suspension of disbelief too far. For a better film and the audience to be okay with it, just have one sci-fi idea. And finally, Super Angry Ninja says, I don't think there should be scientific inventions of time travel, but I don't mind the spiritual Jedi temple that leads to significant events that affect the specific person there. And besides, that temple is destroyed now, so it doesn't really matter anymore. It's a very measured response from a very angry ninja. But what do you think about Star Wars now having time travel of sorts? And what do you think they're going to do with it? Also, I'd love to hear the best or dumbest ideas that people can think of that use time and space travel in the Star Wars universe. So if you have any, please leave it below. Also, there's videos here every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, along with my podcast, The Weekly Planet, that comes out every Monday, where we always talk movies, comics, and TV shows. All that is linked below, but you can also find everything aggregated in one place at planetbroadcasting.com. Thanks for watching this though. I appreciate it. Take care.